as a humanitarian scholar and teacher committed to the upliftment of the marginalized and poor. Emotive tributes were paid at his memorial service at UNISA in Pretoria today. He's also been commended for his contribution to the education of the African child. Well, Ajulu is being called an intellectual inspiration for those he worked with and taught his students, saying he made the African child feel at home. His resilience and determination admired across the continent. An educator at heart, he lectured in many universities across South Africa, including Stellenbosch and UNISA. He also shared his educational expertise in his home country of Kenya. After his passing, Kenyan President Uruhu Kenyatta paid tribute to the professor for the role he played in the upliftment of his community in rural areas of Kenya. Ajulu passed away at a hospital in Pretoria, where he had been admitted for complications linked to pancreatic cancer. Ajulu was married to Human Settlements Minister Lindiwe Sisulu.
And he would argue his point. And it didn't matter what time of the day or night. There's nothing he loved more than intellectual duel. And of course, he did win most of the arguments. Even when he lost an argument, you felt that actually he was able to impart something even to those who opposed him. We'll always remember Rock for his love of this country, Kenya, his love of East Africa, his love of Africa and South Africa.
I'm comforted by the thought that you are at peace. Even though you went too soon, we would have sacrificed everything to ensure that you continue being in our lives. We did our best, but it was not meant to be. Your nephew Yeke will miss you dearly. Rest in peace, Jabba Jabba, Olola Woodburn.
He was so full of life and vigorously engaged in any sphere of endeavor he chose to involve himself. You'll hear all about his somewhat excessive confidence, which often could be accurately described as arrogance. But as you know, he would have none of it. If you wanted to taste of Drat, try and take him on in his specialist field of academia, and there he would be unsparing. I once asked him to give me an input in a research proposal that I was working on. He replied, "Listen, my friend, please withdraw it if you've already sent it." Anyway. It's a polemic that falls short of even the most basic journalistic standards. It's just too embarrassing, Sipho. My advice to you is that go and read some more, my friend, and then rewrite. Only then I will grant you a meeting and we'll have a decent discussion.
I think the ANC can only say at this point, we are grateful to both the Ajulus for having allowed us to also share your son. He was ours as well. We have lost a very dear son of South Africa. As you go to bury him in Kenya, we remember that you participated in the struggle of South Africa when you hosted us. Some of us spent some years, and actually were exposed to those Arab Moi years, when some of the Kenyans had to leave their country and come over to the rest of Southern Africa. I think as we all were listening to the stories about Ajulu, about his role, about his sharpness, the one thing we have to do is to make sure that his life does not go away in vain. We have to write history based also on Ajulu's inputs, contributions, the role he played, in particular in also reproducing intellectuals with a clear African perspective.
Kenyan President Uruhu Kenyatta also sent messages of condolences to the family.
Of the death of Professor Ajulu with dismay and sadness. He was one of Kenya's most distinguished and thoughtful academics and a true Pan-African. He was a penetrating and prolific scholar. His books and papers, expressing his distinctive views in rigorous and stylish prose, I'm grateful for Professor Ajulu's life, rich in achievement, in friendship and in productive scholarship. I offer his family what consolation I can, and I pray God will grant them the courage to bear their loss. The second tribute is from our Foreign Minister, Ambassador Dr. Amina Singh Mohammed, and reads as follows. On behalf of myself, Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs, the Government and the Republic of Kenya, and all Kenyans in South Africa, I extend this heartfelt condolence to Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, as well as the Ajulu and Sisulu families. Although Professor Ajulu is physically not with us, we are comforted that his legacy of fearlessness and courage in advancing the Africa agenda has indeed inspired many people in South Africa and beyond. His demise has robbed us of a true Pan-African intellectual who used his knowledge, compassion, and outspoken nature to influence and shape Africa thinking. As has been noted in the message from His Excellency Uruhu Kenyatta, Professor Ajulu's life was rich in achievement, in friendship and productive scholarship. He will be remembered not only for his academic work, but also as an internationalist who contributed immensely to the struggle for liberation, both in Kenya and in South Africa. He was indeed a child of two nations, as he was born a Kenyan and remained patriotic to his Kenyan roots, but was adopted by South Africa through his commitment and dedication to the freedom and democracy in Southern Africa. We will miss him deeply. We deeply console with the family and pray that God, in his infinite goodness, will grant the family and friends the courage and fortitude to overcome this moment of pain and deep sorrow. May his soul rest in perpetual peace.
The provincial official funeral service of former Speaker of the Free State Legislature, Mantseng Omatsopo, was held in Virginia in the Free State Province. She died in the